If you ask me what the most significant takeaway from the August 7th events in General Hospital was, I would have to disagree with the general consensus. Most people are entirely fixated on the courtroom drama surrounding Curtis and his ongoing legal battles. But to me, that highly publicized trial feels like nothing more than an elaborate smokescreen. It is a loud, distracting magic trick designed to keep everyone's eyes facing forward, while a much more dangerous, far more insidious plan is being quietly orchestrated in the background. We are walking into a story where no one sees the full picture yet, and the true target of this hidden agenda is none other than Willow. Something about that moment stayed with me, the subtle shifts in behavior that betray what is really happening beneath the surface. I keep coming back to Justinda and the precarious position she has put herself in. I am beginning to suspect that Justinda is on the verge of making the most catastrophic mistake of her life. On the surface, she appears to be a fiercely loyal ally to Michael, doing everything in her power to help him gain the upper hand in this brutal custody war. But loyalty, when mixed with desperation and a lack of oversight, can become incredibly dangerous. I have this lingering suspicion that Justinda is going to go completely rogue. Instead of finding legitimate legal leverage, she might take it upon herself to plant illegal drugs in an attempt to absolutely ruin Willow's life, and she will do it without ever getting Michael's approval. At first, it didn't seem important, just another background character trying to prove her worth. But the more I think about it, the more I realize how disastrous this miscalculation will be. Justinda likely believes that she is handing Michael the ultimate victory on a silver platter. However, she is fundamentally misunderstanding who Michael Corinthos is at his core. When the truth inevitably comes to light, I firmly believe Michael will be the very first person to vehemently oppose this despicable tactic. Michael can be ruthless, yes, but framing the mother of his children with narcotics crosses a moral boundary that he simply will not tolerate. Consequently, Justinda is positioning herself to become the ultimate sacrificial lamb in this entire conspiracy, completely discarded by the man she thought she was helping. While this shadow beneath the story continues to grow, there is another thread that demands our attention. I am watching Serena very closely. It appears she is preparing to shift her primary target away from Jack Brennan and directly onto Michael Corinthos. It is a bold move, attempting to manipulate someone with Michael's resources and history. However, I do not believe for a single second that Michael will easily fall into whatever trap she is setting. Michael has been surrounded by manipulators his entire life. He knows how to read the room. I feel that he will quickly deduce that Serena is only cozying up to him for the benefit of deception. Furthermore, he will almost certainly suspect that Lucy Coe is the puppet master pulling Serena's strings from the shadows. It doesn't seem accidental that all these players are converging on Michael at once. And hovering just out of sight, observing every single interaction, is Jack Brennan. I keep wondering whether Brennan is simply biding his time, silently watching Serena try and fail to outmaneuver Michael. Brennan is a master tactician, and it is highly likely that he plans to exploit Serena's raw ambition and her inevitable emotional frustration for a much grander, far more devastating master plan. He knows how to use people's failures to his advantage, and Serena is currently walking right into his line of sight. Meanwhile, the emotional undercurrents in Port Charles are reaching a boiling point, particularly between Willow and Nina. I cannot shake the feeling that their upcoming encounter is going to be far more complex than a standard shouting match. Willow is undoubtedly going to confront Nina, fiercely questioning her about why she leaked so much sensitive information to Jack Brennan. Willow feels cornered, and when she feels cornered, she lashes out. But Nina's response is what intrigues me. I think Nina will desperately try to play the peacemaker, pleading with her daughter to halt this destructive custody war before it spirals completely out of control and leaves nothing but collateral damage in its wake. Maybe there's another layer here, a genuine, albeit deeply flawed, attempt by Nina to save Willow from herself. Despite Nina's desperate pleas, I strongly believe Willow will absolutely refuse to back down. In Willow's mind, she has crossed the Rubicon. She likely views this aggressive stance as her one and only legitimate opportunity to reclaim her children, and she is willing to burn every bridge to make it happen. The tragedy is that neither woman truly understands the unseen forces like Justinda's rogue drug plot that are about to blow their entire world apart. While everyone else is so intensely focused on Willow and her crumbling personal life, my attention keeps drifting over to Jason. There was a highly specific, seemingly throwaway interaction that I couldn't stop thinking about. Tracy Quartermain, in her classic blunt fashion, unexpectedly asks Jason if he is currently packing bags and hiding bodies. On the surface, it is just a sharp-tongued Tracy being Tracy. But in the context of everything happening right now, it feels like a monumental turning point. I believe this is the exact moment Jason officially and unequivocally confirms that he is no longer willing to be the executioner for Sonny Corinthos. What if we're missing something massive here? If Jason is truly permanently stepping away from Sonny's organization, this is not just a personal lifestyle change. It is a seismic event that will fundamentally alter the entire balance of power in Port Charles. For decades, Jason has been the terrifying shadow that kept Sonny's enemies at bay. Without him, the gates are wide open. This realization leads directly to a conversation that is currently keeping me on the edge of my seat. Sonny is going to confess to Dante that Jason has made the decision to leave the organization. When Dante hears this, his reaction will not merely be that of a concerned son worrying about his father's emotional state. Dante is a seasoned cop. He understands the delicate, dangerous ecosystem of the criminal underworld. I suspect Dante will immediately begin to worry about the massive power vacuum Jason's departure creates. He will start looking over his shoulder, wondering what new, ruthless syndicate is preparing to step into the void. But there is a deeper, more complicated emotional conflict here. I have a strong suspicion that Dante, alongside Sonny, might actually try to corner Jason. They might not ask him to stay in the mob officially, but they will likely pressure Jason to remain a silent, unseen protector for Sonny and the family. They want the security of Jason's lethal skills without the official title, and that is a dangerous, unfair burden to place on a man trying to change his life. This shifting dynamic within the Corinthos family is the real danger brewing in Port Charles, far more perilous than any testimony being given in a courtroom. Yet, the town remains distracted. Speaking of distractions, we must follow the thread involving Lucy Coe. Lucy is going to seek out Laura Collins, and she is going to come armed with a barrage of questions. I can't shake the feeling that this conversation is not just casual catching up. It feels like it is intricately connected to the impending corporate shakeups at Deception, or perhaps it revolves around a deeply buried secret that Laura is quietly guarding. Lucy is frantic, always looking for an angle, and whatever she is trying to extract from Laura might just be the missing puzzle piece that connects directly to Serena and Brennan's unfolding schemes. Finally, we must look at the courtroom, the place where everyone assumes the real action is happening. Portia is going to finish her time on the witness stand, and you can practically feel the immense, suffocating pressure radiating off of her. She steps down, and the atmosphere in the room shifts as Isaiah Gannon is called to testify. This is where the legal theater truly begins. Martin Gray is a shark in a tailored suit, and his entire cross-examination strategy will likely revolve around intentionally provoking Isaiah. Martin wants to get under his skin, to make him angry, to make him slip up. If Isaiah loses his temper and fails to control his emotional responses under Martin's relentless grilling, his testimony could easily backfire. He might accidentally provide the opposing side with the exact ammunition they need, making Curtis's entire legal situation infinitely more unpredictable and dangerous. But even as the gavel falls and the courtroom murmurs, I remain convinced that this trial is merely a side plot. Something feels unfinished. The true narrative of Port Charles right now is not about a judge's ruling. It is about the quiet, devastating conspiracy forming against Willow, driven by Justinda's misguided zeal. It is about Jason's monumental decision to step out of the darkness and leave Sonny vulnerable, and the desperate attempts by Dante and Sonny to keep him tethered to their violent world. It is about Serena playing a dangerous game of corporate espionage with Michael, while Brennan watches from the shadows, ready to strike. If Justinda truly goes as far as I think she will be the first casualty of this hidden war, destroyed by the very man she sought to protect. And Michael will soon find himself standing at a terrifying crossroads, forced to choose between maintaining his legal superiority in the custody battle and protecting Willow from a vicious, illegal setup that he never asked for. We are walking down a dark hallway, guys, and the doors are only just beginning to open. The story is far from over.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.